Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Claire and Me podcast.
Oh, that's my cue. I'm Claire.
And I'm Jeremy. And together we are
Claire
and
Me.
And this week, we got it right. We said it together.
We did. You didn't leave me hanging again.
No, which is nice.
It is nice for me.
For you, because I supported you this time.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, this has been a very fun, people-filled weekend. And so for our non-Canadian listeners, we had our long weekend, an extra long weekend for us, because we both got it off. So we headed off to the family cabins for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And then it was your Padres' birthday on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for you, I'm just jumping into conversation. So for you, this weekend, how was that for you?
Like, in what way?
So in a way of for your mental health, for how you feel, do you feel, because you probably feel recharged? No?
I don't know. It was great to see people and interact with people, but it was definitely very exhausting.
Okay.
Like, when we got home on Monday evening, I was pooped.
Yeah, so was I.
I was just so tired, and I don't know. I guess didn't realize how it's hard. And I was also really tired on Tuesday at work. It was just a lot. I don't know if it was the partying or the people or just being outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And since everybody was double vaxxed, this is the one thing I was I said it a couple times at the cabins, was I'm sitting right next to you without a mask. We're both double vaccinated. Look at us.
Yeah.
It was a great feeling to wow, this is the first set of real normalcy in a long time.
Yeah.
Which was really nice for me, but I mean, most of the time, I felt like I slept throughout the whole long weekend.
Pretty much.
I'm a huge napper.
Yeah.
And with naps that I can just take are wonderful. But for me, I was definitely exhausted mentally for the majority of the weekend. Because it's that's a lot of... I'm not used to all that conversations, the people, because you have a big family.
Yep.
They're wonderful. I love your family. Your family is fantastic. But it's a lot. It's a lot for this introvert. But I still appreciate my time there. And even though I did have some quite low times, but yeah, overall it was really good. And I guess at this point, for people who are sensitive with mental health talk, if you're not in a good place or anything, and the subject of depression and all that will bring you to a place,
or may trigger something,
please feel free to skip this episode. We won't be offended. If you feel better and you're stronger, listen to this episode. I don't know how in depth I'm going to
go. Stronger. You're not weak if you have mental illness.
No, not. Yeah.
Just in a better space.
Better space. That's what I meant. A better headspace. Because, yeah, I loved our weekend.
Yeah.
But there was a moment during the trip where I really noticed myself really beat myself up. And like,
about what?
Like, okay, so I think it was Sunday when I was just like really just down in the dumps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think one part of it was that, okay, I've had enough of the people, and the previous night I drank a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what triggered it was, when we were doing the, like, in between of Taboo and the Heads Up game.
Yeah.
Your cousin's partner and me were just kind of talking about our past.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I can't specifically remember what got brought up. I think like trauma and stuff. So like
they were talking about trauma and how it can affect learning.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So they were talking because she's a teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So she was bringing up some really good points, and it got me like really thinking. And then I think as I kind of processed it through my drunkenness, I think I woke up in the morning going, oh, I have some stuff that is definitely not in check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, as you know, like, whenever there's an argument or something that's going down, like,
yep,
between us or like even people on the street,
yeah,
I hear yelling and I just shut down.
Yeah.
And so it just got me thinking of like my past and
I'm sorry. It's not that I'm bored. I
know
can't stop yawning.
I know.
Now that it started, it's just...
I know. I understand. It's okay.
Don't be offended.
I'm not. Yeah, so like growing up pretty much when I was around 5, the biological dad and my mom, they had a divorce, very, very messy divorce. And there were things from that severely affected like kind of like the forming of my brain as a child.
The brain. That
Yeah.
squiggle jiggle in
the massive jelly of my brain in my head. Brain. Yeah, so I think it was like so even through like adolescent, teenager, like while I was growing up as a teenager, my mom didn't have a good partner, very emotionally abusive, and so there's a lot of triggers for me that through my now looking back at it with a more healthy mindset and more of a critical thinking, I think that one, I definitely do need to go to a therapist. Well, we've been talking about that. And which I think will help me greatly.
Most definitely.
Especially because there's been moments lately that's just like, oh, yep, that's a lap. I'm getting sucked back in my depression.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that I've gone my whole life with being anxious. I've been going through my whole life not knowing what.
Because you farted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious.
Very serious. I'm always serious.
Always serious.
Very serious.
In the middle of this podcast.
Yeah, it's very serious.
Very serious.
Very serious.
It is a serious subject, but
it is. But this is how we deal with our issues, is by making light of them.
Yeah, especially me. Humor is a coping mechanism.
Yay, coping mechanisms.
Yeah, and video games or movies. So I think one thing that I've found out about myself is I am scared of my own thoughts.
Oh, really? You don't say?
Yeah.
Who would have thought of that?
I know, right? Do you know why?
Why?
Because I always have stuff constantly going on in my ears. There's always music. There's always movies. There's always media. I hate silence.
Haven't I brought this up to you before?
Yes.
Been like, I think you might. Yeah.
I think like briefly, or like I don't know.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, but it's definitely something recently that I've definitely been like, oh, yeah, I have unhealthy coping mechanisms. Well, I mean,
is it really unhealthy though for you? Like, does it affect
no
the way you live? You go through life, like.
I mean, in a way, because it's like with movies, video games, and all that kind of stuff, it hinders a more active lifestyle.
Fair.
And I could be doing something else. I definitely, especially lately, can feel that it's affecting my Dungeons and Dragons games on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yep.
Because I'll be like, oh, I don't want to play.
Yeah.
Like, I do not have the motivation at all for this. But I mean, I do it anyway.
Yeah, and that's a way of coping.
Yeah.
That is a coping mechanism with depression, is to keep doing, like, have that routine, right? And do kind of that stuff that maybe you don't really want to do. Yeah. But you do it anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so, like, this is very surface level stuff, but I thought that, like, this is something to bring up during the podcast, talk about a good subject. Because mental health is important, and if you feel like you need help, don't be ashamed. Find help. It's just, I'm in the process of finding. Well, what's going on there?
Oh, if you are looking for help and live in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There is a phone number for the Canadian Mental Health Association intake. I would suggest just Googling it. I have the number specifically for the province that we live in. But I'm sure there's one specific for each. So just, look up Canadian Mental Health Association intake. And they will set you up with a therapist and someone that fits well with you.
And, like, I've signed up, and they do a self-assessment every 2 weeks that you fill out. And my latest one that I filled out, like, a couple of days ago, got nice and low scores. Got those low scores aren't good on their intake.
So when are they setting you up with someone?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But they do have a text line that I have used a couple times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you're someone who's more, I need to text, they do have a text line that it's right on their website, so that you can have a conversation with someone. And I mean, it helps because it's like somebody who knows, like, how to talk and, like, get your thoughts and feelings out, which the couple times I've used it, different people, but it's actually been really nice.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I tried using it at the cabins, but because of how spotty the
really bad service,
how bad the service was, like, I got the first couple messages, and then, they had to terminate it because, I couldn't respond back because I didn't get their messages until we were on the road back to the city.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But
yeah, so we can include a couple numbers in our description, and some emergency numbers too if you're really feeling
blue.
Yeah. Well, more than blue.
More than blue. Yeah. Yeah, and so I think mental health is a very important thing to have discussions about, talk about, and also to bring
discussions and talk.
Yeah. Bring light, because it's a real thing. I feel everybody to a certain extent deals with it.
Well, everyone does have a brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like some people less so.
Well, obviously, the same goes for bodies,
Yes.
right? Some people go for their annual. Some people don't even do their whatever yearly checkup thing, right? And they're fine.
Yeah, I haven't done a yearly checkup in a long time.
Yeah.
I should.
Right? And
I
like
need
you
to-
can be somewhat like physically unhealthy and still be totally fine
Yeah.
and operate
function.
to like function at normal or whatever normal level.
Yeah.
Right? And I mean the same can be said for the brain
Mm-hmm.
and mental issues, right?
Yes, 100%.
So
Yeah, I think it's cool that Canada and our province actually is like doing initiatives to make businesses more aware of, hey, if employees need mental health days, please let them take mental health days. And I think that's one thing about our WorkSafe that I appreciate. And when I went for WorkSafe classes,
Yeah.
when I was the chairman of the board at the health and
so
safety
fancy.
committee at my old job, they sent me to classes, and one of them was a mental health class, which was fantastic. But I mean, did the business really listen to that? No. They horrible company.
Well,
Wonderful
a lot
people.
of businesses are like that, right? Because like,
Yeah.
well, we have this work that needs to be done. We need the workers. So if you're not going to show up, the work's not going to get done. So you have to show up.
No.
Right? But that's how a lot of businesses operate.
Yes. But I mean, it was also Big Corp, which doesn't have any soul in it. And if they do show that they do have a soul, it's only a facade.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced that firsthand. But we don't have to go into that. We can get into that another time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And how are you doing lately?
Good.
Good?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're mentally
I've
good?
been mentally good, yeah. Well, I mean, ever since I started the antidepressants.
Yeah.
What was it, like 3 months? Yeah, about
3-4 months.
Yeah, ago. It's definitely been a lot better.
That's nice.
I mean, obviously, it's not like my life is perfect now or anything, but like I still have some low days, but I don't know, just overall life is better, happier.
That's good.
Yeah.
You feel more yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, like how much like you don't realize it, right?
Yeah.
Like what you are or who you are, right? Until you're back to your normal self. You know?
Well, I mean, I don't know what my normal self is. I've just been a bundle of depression my whole life, as far as I remember.
I guess. But yeah, right? Like you, or one does, what am I trying to say here? Yeah, it just kind of like all of a sudden, well, like, and then you also feel like you're making excuses for yourself, right? Like in that depressive state, right? Like, not, well, this is how I experienced it anyway. That I would also, right, like I was already feeling shitty, obviously, but then I would feel even more shitty about myself because I wasn't doing things that I know I can do and that I know I should be doing. Right? And it's like, well, I'm just using depression or using being sad as an excuse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you just feel like, well, it's, you know, like, I mean, I was doing just fine last month, and then now I can't do anything, right? I'm just sitting on the couch, like watching TV and just crying all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and then you just feel like, well, I'm making excuses for myself, right? I'm using this as an excuse to not wash the dishes, not do this, do that, or whatever, right? Like, yeah, like you put that on yourself.
I guess.
But, well, I do. I did.
Yeah.
And I'm sure other people have that same experience, not necessarily everyone. But yeah, and then it just, right? And then you don't realize, like, you realize how you're feeling, but you don't necessarily realize how you fully felt before until you feel that way again, I guess. Right? Like after the medication. Right? It's like, oh yeah, I feel like myself. Right? And like, obviously it took a while.
Yes.
But then it's just like looking back to, it's like, oh wow, like I really didn't feel like myself. Even though I thought that was like, this is just who I am. You know, this is just how I am.
Yeah.
But it's not, right? Like, it's just all this other stuff going on.
Yeah. I guess for me, it's like, it's been too long since I've known any mental normalcy that for me, I think I always put a lot of energy out, and then I get too mentally tired to do anything else. And I don't know how to do a balancing act of that yet. I'm still getting a hang of it.
Well, because you're trying to do it alone.
I know.
And you've been doing that your whole life.
Yes. I pretty much had to raise myself.
But that's not what I mean. I mean professional help.
Oh, yes.
You've been like, oh, well, I can do this, right? Like, I want to change this in myself, so I'm going to.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not that easy. It takes a lot of hard work, and you don't necessarily have those tools, right? Like, you need someone to help guide you through that process and provide you the tools to help through that process, which is agree. Where a professional comes in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I do need one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I have seen a couple. Did not mesh very well with them, but I mean, that I think it always takes a while to find the perfect fit.
Yeah. I mean, it is definitely, like, that is one thing about finding a mental health professional compared to a physical body doctor. Is that you don't necessarily have to agree with your doctor in certain ways that you would have to agree with your mental health professional in some ways, right? Like, you have to, like, mesh well, you know, like, there has to be a kind of a bit like a connection there.
Yeah.
Right. You have to build more of a relationship than you would necessarily by someone who's just like giving you a pap smear. Right? Like, you don't need to have a relationship necessarily with that one.
No.
That person. You know, they're just doing the swab and sending it in to get it tested and then give you the results, right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a lot. And that's one of the issues, right? Is that people are like, "Oh, well, you had this person and they were there." And it's like, "Yeah, but they didn't fit." Right? And that's a huge deal. And there definitely needs to be a better way of or better system in place, I think.
Yes.
To help help get people to find the right people for them.
Yeah, because I have done quite a bit of searching for therapists, and it's like sometimes it's just really hard finding the right person. Like I probably definitely have to sit down, have some time where I comb through some therapists so that I can really actively do it. Because if I don't, I won't find the help that I need.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a matter of like getting in front of someone.
Yes.
And having a session.
Yes.
Or a chat or whatever you'd like to call it.
The intake and then.
And see how it goes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it takes some time. I mean, I lucked out.
You did luck out. Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't the first person I've ever talked to.
I know.
But close. And it just like, we're just very much on the same level. And she's just super respectful and very, I don't know, it works really well.
Side note, this isn't going to go on the podcast. Does the corporate care cover therapy?
Covers whatever the fuck we want it to cover, bitch.
Yeah?
Yes, it will.
Oh, sweet.
I already talked to my dad a little bit about that.
Oh, cool.
Just being like, so, I don't know. So we'll see. It'll, I know, like, we briefly talked and, like, he obviously doesn't want to cover everything. Right? Like, yes. But, like, a percentage to kind of help you, but also so that you can, like, feel like you accomplished doing it yourself, too, right?
Okay.
Like, especially with your teeth and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that you have that accomplishment of, like, I did this. So, like, he still wants to give you that satisfaction.
Well, yeah.
But still, like, aid the process.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm excited for my teeth.
Yeah. So I don't know what level, what percentage or whatever that will be covered. Like, we'll find out. Yeah. Like, whatever it is, we'll make it work. And same goes, like, do not fucking worry about the money.
Yeah. No.
Okay? I mean, definitely you don't need, like, a $200 an hour therapist.
No.
But, I mean, it's not a huge concern. We'll make it work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we have that privilege.
We do have that.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait for my teeth.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm actually, like, really excited to actually get my teeth done.
Yeah.
So, for everybody listening and anybody who hasn't met me, probably one of the first things that you notice about me is, one, I probably don't smile as much as I would love to, because I feel like I'm a very bubbly personality.
Yes. And that's probably the actual first thing that people notice about you.
Is a bubbly personality.
Yeah. Is how, like, cheery you are and just, like, easygoing.
Yeah.
Not your smile or lack thereof, which you might focus on. But I can tell you for sure that other people don't.
Yeah. Well, physically, I feel like if I smile...
Physically? You're walking down the street, you think that's the first thing people notice?
No.
No.
But it's first...
It's your flaming head.
Yeah.
Because your hair is like fuchsia.
Yeah, it's pretty great. But, like, my teeth are noticeable.
Yes.
When I smile.
Yeah.
It feels weird to smile. Because I haven't done it like a proper smile in a long time.
I don't know. I feel like you smile with me all the time.
Well, that's because I'm comfortable with you.
Yeah. I mean, I cherish it. So maybe other people don't deserve your smile.
Maybe. Because I've definitely been picked on about my teeth a lot. And it's definitely my greatest insecurity.
Yeah.
But we're on the path to getting me a smile.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited about that. And I think it's going to present me with probably a lot more confidence in myself.
Oh, for sure.
I'm also interested to see if it affects me physically because of how bad my teeth are. I feel like there's a part of my body that is working overtime because of bacteria and stuff and trying to fight off anything in my mouth or something like that. This is just my own thoughts. I don't even know the science behind it, but I feel like that might have to do with why I'm tired all the time, at least a little bit. Maybe.
I'm kind of curious if it'll change the way you talk at all.
What do you mean?
Well, like, because, like, the way that your tongue moves within your mouth might be a bit different.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah. Instead of sounding a little slurry.
Yeah. I'm just curious if it'll change anything.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is very exciting that we're starting that journey.
Yeah.
Or you're starting that journey.
Well,
I'm along for the ride.
You're along for the ride. But it's going
to just hanging on your coattails.
Yeah. But it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have to learn a lot together.
I mean, it's really fascinating, like the dentistry behind it and stuff. And yeah, it's cool.
Okay. So, we went in for an intake session to go over my teeth, and during it, no one likes the dentist. Let's be real here. Do you like the dentist?
Yeah. I mean, it's not pleasant.
No. But I will say the experience we had at the new dentist.
Oh, it was fantastic.
That was a phenomenal experience because I still can't get over how excited my dentist is.
Yeah, the dentist was super excited.
Yeah. So, like, that made me feel very confident in them. Mm-hmm. Two, that kind of made me feel better about myself. That I was just like, oh, like, I don't have to worry. I'm in good hands.
Yeah.
Because the previous place that I went to, it was very, like, you can tell that he probably didn't enjoy his job.
It wasn't as nice of an atmosphere, and like,
yeah,
wasn't the same vibes.
Yeah. And so going from, I would say, a very depressing dentist experience to one of a lot of optimism and a lot of, like, everybody was like, oh, hi, Jeremy. I'm so-and-so. Nice to meet you. Mm-hmm. Oh, hi, Jeremy. I'm so-and-so. Yeah. Nice to meet you. It was just like, okay, well.
Yeah, definitely really great staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's like, just good workers in everything. I'm sorry. I hate people who aren't good workers. And I just can't stand people, like, in everything, just in any situation. I just like people who are good workers.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that.
And it just makes the experience of whatever that may be so much better.
Yeah. And so during the, like, putting the stuff, like the x-rays of the mouth, mm-hmm. and I mean, that was all right. Just a regular dentist experience. But then once they pulled out the 3D,
oh my goodness,
thing,
so cool.
That was so cool. So they pretty much stuck this fat ass camera in my mouth to, like, take a 3D imagery of all my teeth. So they shoved the 3D imager camera in my mouth, and it was so cool to see that they brought out the screen that's like, this is your mouth. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, there was a 3D model of your mouth on the screen, and like they could rotate it any which way to look at all the different angles and everything.
Yeah, and they could choose upper, lower, and like they could like
isolate different spots
to see which spots like have had the most pressure. So like they told me, oh, so you eat on your right side the most. I'm like, yeah, well, here, because you have
pressure points,
you have so much pressure on these points, we can tell you've been eating here and not on your left side. Well, mainly because I barely have teeth on my left side.
Yeah.
But it was just such a, like, I'm still, that was like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
At least.
That was like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still raving about it. If that doesn't tell you that, like, I had a great experience at a dentist, I don't know what does. Yeah. So shout out to that dentistry. Not going to name the name, but shout out to them.
And all those other hard workers out there.
Yes, and to all the other hard workers out there.
Because you guys make
the world a better place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, we actually, we're going to transition to our email.
Oh, we are? Yeah. Our first email? We got an email?
We got our first email.
That's so exciting.
So our first email comes from your aunt.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. So, I think last episode we were talking about movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about movies, and so the email says, so your cousins weren't allowed to watch Sleepy Hollow because it was an R-rated movie here in the U.S. But your mom picked up the video, and I believe it was a PG rating in Canada.
Yeah, the ratings are a lot more
Different.
No, that's not the word I was looking for.
A lot more critical?
No,
Or...
like kind of, but more fierce.
Oh.
Not that word.
More strict.
Stricter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the rating is a lot more strict in the US than it is in Canada.
Okay.
So usually anything, because I remember my brother and I, like, had rented a movie or whatever in the States, like rated R or whatever, and it's like, this is rated R?
Really?
But, like, they weren't in Canada.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a lot more. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. So your aunt so your aunt freaked out when she found out that they watched it.
That's too funny. Oh, sneaky mom.
That's hilarious. Oh yeah, and then we were talking about travel, and I think this is
Oh yeah, the road trip stuff. We were talking about that.
Oh yeah. So she remembers your family trying to go to the alien restaurant. I guess that's in Roswell.
No.
Oh.
It's in Fargo.
Oh, so this was like a sideshow, roadside attraction.
Kind of. It's a restaurant. I can't remember what city, but it's a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
So my friend and I, as we had mentioned in that previous episode, that my friend and I stopped it there during a road trip.
Oh.
And then with the family, when we were on a different road trip, I was like, yeah, let's go check it out. It was fun.
Yeah.
But it was closed.
And then you traveled up to our city, but since had Zoe, we couldn't.
Oh, right. Because we had her pupper with us.
Yeah.
That's why we couldn't go in.
Oh, it wasn't because it wasn't closed. It was because of the pupper. And did you even talk about pickles or pierogies? No, we definitely did not talk about that.
We said the words pickles and pierogies, I believe.
But we definitely didn't talk about it.
We have talked about pickles, right? We've talked about how we pickled.
Yeah, we briefly talked about pickles in the second episode.
I don't know.
Something like that. First episode.
We could now, though.
Yeah, we could talk about pierogies.
We pickled for the first time last summer because we have a garden, so we like to grow some of our own veg.
Yeah.
And we got Jeremy's grandma to show us some pickling. So we went over to her place with our sad cucumbers and did some pickling. And we still have like almost all of them left because we hardly ate any. Because
we ate one jar.
So we did some bread and butter pickles and some dill pickles. And like you just had one of our dills the other day, right? Which is almost a year after it being pickled, and it was so good. So I think that's the key.
Yeah.
Is also to just wait even longer than like the suggested month or two.
Yeah.
And because they were really nice and crunchy, and they definitely weren't that kind of crunch before, I don't think.
Oh, no, they
definitely
weren't.
A lot softer. So it was, it was really good.
Yeah, but honestly, this year, hopefully we'll have some good pickling.
Some nice, little pickles. Yeah, well, that's the thing is we picked all of our cucumbers later, right? And and a few of them had been on the vine too long, so their skin was already a bit yellow, which also means they're a bit tougher. And but
it
was just, it
was
we'll see.
Yeah, let's hope.
And this year's gonna be a year or two, so we'll find out.
Yeah, and we're out there a lot more frequent. So
yes, but it's way hotter this summer.
That's true.
Which I feel like if it was last summer and we'd been watering twice a week, our garden would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have at least an assortment of cucumbers so that we can pickle them, because that's
the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be.
Or we can at least be a little more selective and maybe only do less pickles.
Yeah, But because our pickles were so big and everything, Grandma's just like, okay, we're going to cut the cucumbers and stick them in. Like,
cutting them was fine. It was the peeling them that I think.
Oh, right.
Right? Like the bread and butter pickles, we peeled them.
Right.
And I think that was a mistake.
Yes.
But it's also because, okay, so these cucumbers were like 2 inches across.
Yeah.
Like in diameter. Like that's how big they were, right? Like when you eat pickles, they are like what, half, 3/4 of an inch usually?
Yeah.
So these were large ones. So like these were giant freaking bread and butter. Anyways, so they didn't, and then we had to do spears for the dill.
Oh, right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like none of our pickles were small enough to be pickled. None of our cucumbers were small enough to be pickled whole.
Yeah.
So maybe this year.
Yeah. Fingers crossed this
Yes.
year. But I'll be honest, our garden looks amazing.
It does look really good. We'll have to take a picture and put it on our Instagram or something.
Yeah. I definitely do have some pictures that I can put on our Instagram.
Yeah. We should do that.
Definitely can.
And we'll share a jar of our pickles.
Yeah, we'll take a picture of our
Not that they look like anything exciting, but it's just a jar of pickles.
Just a jar of pickles. And then pierogies.
Pierogies.
Like, what are your favorite?
Well, we have different opinions on pierogies.
Yes, very different.
Because I grew up eating potato pierogies, and you're all about the cottage cheese pierogies.
That's a proper way to have Verenike.
Yeah. See, I didn't even know what that was.
So, Verenike is like essentially pierogies, but it has cottage cheese in there, and then you put the sour cream and the roasted onions on top. Oh, so good. Have you had cottage cheese pierogies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I don't know why I haven't asked that.
I feel like you have. Maybe it just wasn't exciting enough to remember.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Because I'm like...
I have. I still, prefer the potato ones, I think. No, I mean, I do like the cottage cheese ones, but I like the potato ones. Yeah. I mean...
Well, I can enjoy
I'm an Irish girl. Of course I like the potatoes. And that's also... I feel like that's more common here.
Yes.
Or the potato ones.
I feel like those are common everywhere.
But the cottage cheese ones are more... Mennonite, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But when I do get my hands on some of them, I don't know why I went to the southern accent, but when I get my hands on those the Verenike, oh, they're so good. I love them.
I'm pretty sure we can find somewhere that makes them.
Oh, 100%.
Because there are so many little pierogi shops in the city.
Well, my grandma gets them from someone.
Well, ask her.
Yeah, I will. But they give them to her because I think they make it, and so it's just it's a once a year thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
That being said, if anyone knows anywhere to get some good cottage cheese pierogies, let us know.
Yeah. Just
shoot us a line.
Shoot us an email. Shoot us a message on Instagram. You can send a message there, or you can send us a email at claremepodcast@gmail.com. That is claremepodcast@gmail.com.
I think that's it.
We talked about the pickles and pierogies. So, Auntie, I hope that...
Hi!
Yeah, hi! I hope that satiates you with our pickles and pierogi talk.
Yep.
There might be more in future episodes.
Probably.
Yeah.
So again, I'm Claire.
And I'm Jeremy.
We'll catch you next time on the Claire Me Podcast.